I'm Will Shipley, and I'm chopping it up with Buck.
All right, I'm with Will Shipley at his old high school. You know, Will, when we came in here, it was interesting because I felt like I used to feel when I was a 17, 18-year-old coming back for the first time, the second time, everybody running up to you. How does it feel to be back at Weddington before we even talk about what you've done so far at Clemson?
Yeah, it feels great, you know, just to be back, see some familiar faces. You know, it just puts a smile on my face, you know, kind of being back where I was bred. You know, went to Weddington K through 12th grade, so just always brings back great memories, and I love it.
So we talked a little bit. You were really a lacrosse guy growing up, played football, track, you know, how fast you are, everybody knows that. But what was it about football that got you going? What was it about football that said, yeah, I like this a lot?
Yeah, so I actually started playing lacrosse before I was able to play football, you know, with the pad requirements and, you know, weight, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd say in middle school is really when, you know, my love for football kind of took off.
Yeah.
You know, started getting a little bit better than my peers, and I just loved working at it. You know, I loved running into that end zone. It's just no better feeling to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, really fell in love with it in middle school, and then, you know, from there it just took off. It's grown every single day. So.
Were you like Jim Brown in lacrosse, or were you more of a guy that can make people miss? Because I know you have that ability. But what was it about lacrosse that carried over? Because I didn't get to play. Growing up in Texas, I wish we would have had lacrosse. But now that I watch the sport and I live through other guys, what was it about that translated to football?
It's crazy because it's so similar to football in terms of you know, movements, especially at the running back position. You know, being able to you know, accelerate, decelerate, you know, just control your speed, control your movements. It's something that I learned really early in lacrosse, and you know, I think it kind of seamlessly transfer over to football, and it's helped me, you know, at the college level, high school level, you know, every level I've played at of football. So yeah, just being able to accelerate, decelerate, you know, get to full speed quick, and then being able to, you know, bust it down and, you know, make a quick move. So yeah.
So the one thing that I always like to hear is the first time I get to college, right? I'm playing Oklahoma. This one Bosworth. They had Ricky Dixon, 4 or 5 first-round guys my freshman year. First game, I hit the DN. I can't tell you his name, but I know he didn't move. It was like hitting that wall, like right there. That was my come to college moment. I knew I had to get in the weight room. I knew I had to do more, and I was a highly recruited guy out of Texas. What was your coming to college moment when you got to Clemson?
Yeah, so I really have two that come straight to mind, but I would say the first one, the first real one where I know it was like welcome to college, and it's funny because he actually said it after he hit me, but it's with inside zone drill last spring, first spring at Clemson. You know, got in there, got COVID for the first 5 or 6 practices, so came in on the first day with full pads on, not having played football in almost 2 years at this point because my senior year of high school got canceled, and got the ball in a little inside zone, and James Skowski came out of nowhere. You know, I tell you, literally out of nowhere. You know, I thought I was running into the end zone and just pounded me. You know, was laying on the ground. He gets over my face. Can't even see him because all the stars, and he says, "Welcome to college football."
Okay.
You know, so I'd say that was definitely. And after that, I knew I had to go a couple steps to be where I wanted to be. So.
What was the other one? You said that was one. What was the other one?
So it was actually before the season in fall camp. It was with Justin Foster, number 35. He played DN last year for us. He was a senior, a super senior. So I think it was 6th year, actually maybe 5th year.
He was a grown man senior.
Grown man, yeah, grown man. That's what matters. But I was pass blocking, and one of the offensive linemen switched off to a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets my man, I got to grab his. And went up to block Justin Foster, and when I tell you, this man just put one hand through my chest, and I went straight to the ground. He sacked the quarterback. Coach was in my ear. But those are two moments that stick out to me when I think, welcome to college football for sure.
Well, and you're coached by, that's the other thing. We'll go back, like starting in high school. You had a great high school career, great coaches, Coach Andy Capone and all the guys at Weddington. I used to talk to your dad, and I know Mike Newman well, and he was always saying, hey, watch this Will Shipley kid, watch him. What has great coaching helped you with? Because I think the key is you can be a great player, but I go back to all the coaches that I've ever had that have made me even better than what I thought I could be. Talk about that from high school all the way to college, and what role that's played for you.
Yeah, I think the role that coaches can play in your development, who you are as a person, they can act as role models. It just helps you so much. And I've been blessed, all the way from Pop Warner to college, where I'm at now, to have great role models and coaches. In high school, I had Coach Capone, who just developed me as a man. More or less, also as a running back and a student athlete, but really as a man. That's someone I can go to with anything, and it's just really out of respect, and being able to be coachable in all situations, because I understand that I wouldn't be where I am today without the great coaching that I've had. And then I get to the college level, and I'm blessed to have Coach Spiller as my running back coach.
I called his games back in the day. That's when you said that, I can just remember watching.
Full circle. But then to go to college and be coached by a literal college football Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. I really don't even have words for it. That's how crazy it is to me. Just the knowledge he gives me, how willing he is to, give me everything he's got. Whether or not I'm able to break his records or not. He gives me all the knowledge and develops me as much as he can. So it's huge.
What are a couple of football things? Because I think people always think great players just show up. But what is Coach Spiller giving you? Just a couple tidbits from the running back position to another running back. And we'll talk about Christian McCaffrey too, who you got to know here in the Carolinas as well.
Yeah, Coach Spiller, I would say he emphasizes the little things, because the little things are what's going to allow you to get into the NFL, and it's going to allow you to stay in the NFL and consistently produce at that level. So pass blocking is one thing that he always emphasizes, and it's the biggest hurdle at each level. Going from high school to college and then college to the NFL. It's tough. It's a tough thing to get used to. He always emphasizes that, and then holding on to the football, as simple as it may seem. If you lose that ball, then you're out of a contract. It's a business up there, and even at the college level, you'll find yourself up on a depth chart. Have a couple fumbles, and then you got reps lost. So I'd say those are two things he really emphasizes, and then just. For me personally, something that he's always told me is just be yourself. Don't try to be Christian McCaffrey. Don't try to be someone else. You can always take stuff from their game and emulate it to get your game better. But just be yourself and have fun with it.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back on Chopping It Up with Buck.
Chopping It Up with Buck is brought to you by Thin Energy. Join the Thin Energy Vibe Drive today at thinenergy.com.
I don't think they running at my pace.
We're back on Chopping It Up with Buck. I got Will Shipley. So you talk about Christian McCaffrey. I think that was really neat. He reached out to you, or you guys got connected.
Yes, sir.
Here in Charlotte. I covered him in college too, by the way. And the one thing I told your dad when I first saw you really starting to play, I said, you got a lot of that in you. You're a little bit bigger than he is, as stature. But I think the intangible things in the game, and if you talk to the folks from even when he was younger, his soccer helped him out. What are some of the things that he's been able to help you with, and just kind of help you develop?
Just his perspective, and the way he looks at the game. The couple times that I've been blessed to work out with him, talk to him, just have any conversation, he's always given me a different perspective on the game. And really at life, he does so many things that allow him to be a step above everybody that he competes with. And that's why he's the best at what he does. Some things I'll add in there, like he taught me Eldoa, stretching and meditation method. It's something totally outside of football that has elevated my game to a different level. It truly has. And then,
what has meditation done for you? I'm gonna stop you there, because that was one thing in college I learned. Going out on the West Coast, everybody thinks, oh, it's crazy and weird, but that was the one thing that helped me get so focused when I was having a bad day, when I wasn't playing well. What has it done for you and help your game?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You don't realize how powerful your mind is until you tap into it. And it's done great lengths for me. But just to be able to connect with your mind and reach goals and make goals with yourself that you can get to. Your mind helps you get to those. And if you think that anything is achievable, then you can get there.
Yeah. The one thing I always hear from great running backs, I got to play with Marshall Faulk, and I can just hear him always talk about the first guy and the second guy I already know where they are.
Yes,
But it's the third or fourth guy. What about you? What do you see when you're on the field and the game is slowed down, when you're sitting there, DJ's calling whatever plays? How do you process what you have to do as a running back?
Yeah, everything happens so quick. Especially in our offense, we're a fast tempo offense. Try to get the ball snap before 25 seconds on the play clock. So being able to get the play call in from the signalers, and then looking at the defensive structure, seeing if there's any piggybacks or where the linebackers are in the box. To knowing which offensive lineman is going to block who. It's a lot to process in a short amount of time. But I think that's what makes the great running backs so good, and something that I'm continuing to develop, but have developed so much since I got to college. Like you said, you got that first read key on the defensive line, and then it's really linebacker, safety, anybody else. So you got to know where everybody is, because you got to have something ready for anything that's ahead of you. And it's something that I struggled with early on in the year, but as I continued to watch more game film, which is so huge at the college level, and I'm sure it's even bigger at the NFL.
And see, at least with you guys, because I watch film to get ready for games. It's you can download it from the cloud right away, right?
So
back in the day, we used to have the roll. You busting on me. But yeah, we used to have to go reel to reel, so we're watching it, and the coach is going back and forth. So now you can get it as soon as the game is over. But that is true. What has watching film help you with in the game of football?
It's taken me, it's allowed me to take my game to a different level. Even just in the span of my freshman year, from the first game against Georgia to seeing how I prepared for Iowa State in the Cheez-It Bowl. Just two different methods.
And that Georgia defense. You guys, there was one play particularly on the side. If you get that ball, you're going to the house, right?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
I mean, their DBs are good, but talk us through that, because they won the national championship. There's been a lot of talk about Clemson. Y'all only won 10 games. Well, it's because you've won national championships. You've been in contention for championships. What was it about that Georgia defense that's making you guys all work harder this offseason?
Yeah, they stonewalled us. To put it straight like that. We didn't score a touchdown. Only got a field goal in there. But they just brought everything they had, and for them to win a national championship, and for us to be 2 plays off from beating them in the first game of the season, just kind of puts into perspective how close all these teams are in college football, and how hard it is to be successful. Because we win that game, get some momentum, and I think we're undefeated going to the college football playoffs. It's speculation, but that's what I believe. Yes, sir. So for that defense to come in there and kind of take our confidence away, I think it hurt us during the season, but now we've gained ability from that, and we've gained knowledge to take into this next season, and I think at the end of the day it'll pay its dividends. Yeah,
talking about one guy that left, and I'm a big fan of Tony Elliott. I hope Virginia does well. I'm sure you like that until they play you guys, whatever that is. But talk a little bit about Coach Elliott and why he was a big reason why you ended up at Clemson.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've got all the love in the world for Coach Elliott. He recruited me since my sophomore year in high school. He was the one that offered me.
Who were the other schools besides Clemson? I know you had a lot on your list, but who'd you end up like the last few?
Yeah, it was between Notre Dame, Stanford, and Clemson. Yes, sir. But when it came down to it, actually was about to make my decision and wasn't sure what to do. Coach Elliott calls me, and just such a God wink. Sends me 10 Bible verses, and he says, "Hey, why don't you read over these? Since I know you're having a hard time dealing with everything, and we'll talk about them." And I think right then is when I really knew, like, Clemson's the place for me, because that's what they're all about. They want to develop you as a football player and get you ready for the next level, but their number one thing is for you to graduate and to develop you as a man. And so, when he did that for me, I think that's when I really realized it. And I hope he's so successful at Virginia. I know he will be, because of the type of man he is, how he carries himself, everything that he does. But yeah, I've got all the love in the world for Coach Elliott, and I wish all the success for him.
So we can talk football all day, but academically, back at the place where it kind of started for you at Weddington, talk to me about academics, because I know that's a very important part for you. You're a really good student. You're probably going to finish in, 3 years?
Yes, sir.
Probably being position to then get a master's degree. Tell me a little bit about that and the role that academics plays in your life.
Yeah, and academics has played a huge part in my life since I was a very young.
You better say that loud because your dad is over there.
I know, right? Make sure my dad hears that one. No, but he is a pivotal part in that, and my parents have emphasized it since I was not even able to get A's or B's or C's.
Who was more? Was it mom or dad?
Dad. Dad for sure. Yeah, Dad was definitely a little more tough about it, but so was my mom, and they kind of banded together, acted like good cop, bad cop, and it ended up pretty good. But yeah, I'm planning to graduate in 2.5 years at Clemson, so December of my junior year, and just see where the tide takes us after that. But just setting myself up, and some goals that I have for myself in the future. If I keep it up, I think I'll be able to reach them, and it's always good to have good academics because you can lean back on anything when football is over. And football always does come to an end. So.
Who are some of the closest guys on the team to you? Who are the guys you kind of hang out with? I can remember, we have a text chain of about 40 guys I still keep in touch with.
Yeah.
People don't believe it, but when Ken Norton gets hired back at UCLA, we're all congratulating him. Who are your guys at Clemson those are your dudes?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I got everybody on the team. I love getting along with everybody. But I'd say, Phil Maffa, my roommate, other running back, tight end, Jake Brennan-Stool, number 9.
See, I knew you were like a tight end.
Right?
Tight end,
Marcus Tate, offensive lineman, played last year as a freshman.
Your bodyguard.
Exactly. And Bo Collins, number 80, wide receiver, who stepped up big time last year. So that's really my close group. We're all on the offensive side. I don't know if I can get close with any defensive players, but
see, the defensive guys are cool, but when you got to go against them all day, and who talks the most trash? Who's the defensive guy that just doesn't shut up? That's going to yap all day?
Last year, I would have said Andrew Booth, who you'll probably see him in day one of the draft this year. But holy cow! I mean, he would go at you or at it with you for days. About the same thing, but he always backed it up. It was always fun to talk to him in that way. But yeah, he's definitely got a big mouth on him.
The beautiful thing about that, Will, is that when you have all those guys, like you've had guys at Clemson that are now in the league. You guys are starting to set your path. Who comes back? I mean, is Leroy Etienne still coming back around? Who are some of the guys that have just recently graduated, besides Trevor and those guys, that come back and spend time with y'all? Because that was the biggest thing for me at UCLA, getting those guys that were coming back that had been in the league, so you can talk to them about how to make your game better here, but also aspire to that next level.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of Clemson. We just had pro day last week.
I heard you out there just yelling.
I always have fun with that stuff. Just cheering on the guys, hyping them up. But I always have a lot of alumni and past student athletes come back. I know I met Amari Rogers last weekend. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But just so many opportunities like that. Eric McLean, who does a lot of stuff with the ACC network, and I've gotten a good relationship with him. He was there. So yeah, I think it's a pivotal part in our program. Is Coach Sweeney wants to have those guys back, and he wants us to have a relationship with them so that we can get the knowledge that they have.
Well, you tell Coach Sweeney, he always teases me. His first game as an interim head coach was against Boston College. I got to call that game.
Yes, sir.
Doug Bell and every time I see him, he still tells me, y'all didn't believe I was going to win. I said, Coach.
Nobody did.
I believe him, because after sitting down with them for an hour and a half when we were only supposed to be with them for 30 minutes, I can see why. And I told people then, he's going to recruit well, he's going to get coaches, but he's going to get players. What does Dabo mean to you in that program?
Yeah, there's not a program without Coach Sweeney. I really believe that. And all of the players, we do it because of how Coach Sweeney has acted, and he's just been such a great part in my life, as well as my teammates, the program, everybody that gets involved with the program. He just makes everybody around him a better person. That's the true definition of a leader, and that's what he is. So he hasn't wavered from anything. How he recruited me is the same way he treats me right now. And I know whatever he's telling me.
And don't sleep on Coach Sweeney, because he can bite. He's got a bite too.
Oh yeah.
Everybody thinks he's a Golly G guy, but in talking to him, he is a lot more insightful than people give him credit for. But I think it's more not just X's and O's, but how to tap into your heart.
It truly is.
Yeah.
You know, he knows how to just manage people. He knows how to work with people. He knows that not everybody's the same, and you can't treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
You know, so like you were saying, he'll get into you now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you just you know it's for the better.
Generally,
He's
you know
looking out for
you needed to have it, or it was
exactly. Maybe not in the moment. You know, I think all competitive athletes can say that they've gotten pissed off at a coach or this or that. But you know, when you're laying down your bed at the end of the night and you're thinking back on it, you know, you always understand that he's just doing it for the betterment of you. So
we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back on Chopping It Up with Buck and Will Shipley.
Chopping It Up with Buck is brought to you by Thin Energy. Join the Thin Energy Vibe Drive today at thinenergy.com.
We're back on Chopping It Up with Buck. I got Will Shipley, and one thing I mean, we're in a hall of trophies.
Yes,
but
sir.
Weddington has had some trophies, and you've been a key part of winning some championships. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You know, coming to Weddington, I knew that some championships were going to be my future. It's just something this school is all about. Just a great program all around, and I was happy to be a part of 5 state championships, and wish I could have gotten a couple more in there, but ended up with 5, and at least 1 in all 3 sports. So it was a great time.
And your brother also was a part of some of those championships as well. He's playing lacrosse now at University of Penn. So how many did he end up winning?
Oh, I think 5 as well. It was actually so cool because I got to win 2 of my lacrosse state championships with him. So something that we'll be able to remember for the rest of our lives. So
do you talk trash to him? Because eventually you want to win one at Clemson, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
I'd be honest.
A couple, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hey, you got to claim it.
Yeah.
When you do that, then you have bragging rights in the family.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's always in the back of my mind. As much as I love him, we're probably some of the most competitive brothers out there. So anytime I can get something off or get a step in front of him, I definitely take advantage of it.
Your dad has told me you guys have had some epic brother battles.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. It goes all the way back to playing games when we were kids. I would lose and we'd get in a fight or something like that. No, but I absolutely love him. He's been such a great role model for me, and I've really paved the path for my success in a way. Someone that I can go to with anything. So he's been an awesome brother.
Yeah, that's always interesting when you have brothers that grow up. As you grow up, you learn to kind of appreciate each other. What advice has he given you to kind of help you as you transition through college?
I would say one of the best pieces of advice that he's given me is to just not waver, not listen to the outside noise. Especially since I've gotten to the college level, there's so much hate out there. It's unbelievable.
Do you stay on social media during the season, or do you shut it down, or how do you manage that?
I definitely limit the use.
Okay.
With NIL coming about, it's kind of hard to totally shut it down.
That's right.
But I definitely cut it down to a minimum because I tell you, this past year those fans were ruthless. Ruthless on all levels. So it's a tough thing, but you just got to kind of cut it out and like my brother said, just stay true to myself.
So when you talk about NIL, I mean, that was going to be one of the things I talked to you about.
Yes, sir.
How has that, Clemson has already done a good job, most of the bigger programs, but what has that done for you, and how has that helped you kind of see the value of you as a player, but also being able to give back? I know a lot of guys are doing things like that. Talked to Chase Griffin earlier in the week, and that's one of the things, given to an LA food bank. Yes, I love to hear that, where you get and then you also give. What does NIL do for you?
It's been great for me. I haven't pursued as many NIL deals as some other college athletes, but the ones that I have engaged in have given me the ability to give back. Giving back to the children of Levine's Hospital from my Ship Happens shirts.
Ship Happens. I'm waiting on the golf shirt.
Right. I know we need to get the college shirt out there. But just little stuff like that. Just get some extra money in your pocket to be able able to give to the people that you love, and then like you said, also gain an appreciation for yourself and your brand. I've learned more about my brand and how to create it, how to structure it in the past year than I would have ever learned how to do. I'm learning how to get credit cards, pay off finances, card debt, just stuff like that that I wouldn't have learned until I got to the league. So it's given me a great opportunity to gain knowledge and give back to people that I love.
And you also have a father that's kind of involved in high school sports, an entrepreneur. How much has that helped you understand the business side of it to allow him or whoever's handling that kind of? Have you learned a lot through that process?
Oh yeah, you wouldn't even believe it. I tell you wouldn't believe it. He's always in my ear about the business side of things. And I appreciate it because it gives you a different understanding for your brand, and you never know who's looking at you, what you're doing, but there's always somebody that's watching. So to be able to understand the business side of it, and to see where you can just continue to grow your brand and the business side of it. He's always helping me out with that.
Clemson's a great school academically. You also have opportunities there. What are some of the things you've tapped into in school that outside of football, or just things that kind of keep you away? Because you can think football all the time, but you need a break a little bit. What are some of the things academically or just Clemson has provided, besides that Taj Mahal of a facility y'all have?
Yes, sir. Just as simple as meeting some of the professors that have been teaching my classes, getting into my entrepreneurship and administrative management major this year. It's given me a chance to really gain an interest in school and see that's what I want to do after my playing days are over. So as simple as an entrepreneur coming in to be a guest speaker in one of my classes and creating a relationship with them. Sending them a LinkedIn, profile, which, Paul Journey, part of our football program, has, taught me how to do that little stuff that matters, thank you letters, micro internships, so they do such a great job with making sure that we're going to be set, for life after football. And then, you talk about all the tutors they provide. There's a huge arsenal of things they allow you to, have to make sure that you're set academically and, for life after football.
So we always do a 2-minute drill, and you know what that means. You got to pass, protect.
Yeah, let's go.
I want you to make some plays. And I ask questions that I just want you to, right off the top. I don't want you to think about it because we've already watched whatever defense is against us, we're going to go against
Yes, sir.
But these questions are just designed to get you to rapid fire.
I love it.
What was the coolest part of the recruiting process?
Meeting all the head coaches.
Okay.
Yeah, just creating relationships with them.
Who was the coolest head coach besides Coach Sweeney? The one that just he's pretty cool. I'm not going to school there, but he was a good guy.
Coach Cutcliffe from Duke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Cut is a great guy. Isn't he?
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Man.
I mean,
how many book recommendations did he give you? 'Cause he
at least 50.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone that he's ever given me has been outstanding.
Yes, sir.
And what book are you reading right now?
I am reading Into the Depths.
Into the Depths.
Yeah,
by
yes,
who?
sir. I'm actually not sure who it's by, but it's really helping me with my spiritual side.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Into the Depths. I know you're a guy of faith. Church on Saturday, church on Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, so Sunday morning, 11:15 at New Spring on Clemson's campus. So,
I love it.
Yes, sir, me and all my buddies.
Man, we're getting close to the end zone. You're marching it down the field.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're marching it down the field. McDonald's or Wendy's?
Wendy's. 4 for 4, no question.
4 for 4?
4 for 4.
So McDonald's,
Hey, I don't mind McDonald's, but the 4 for 4, I just don't know if you can pass it up.
Okay.
I don't know if you pass it up.
I agree with you, and I love the chili from Wendy's, but I don't have an NIL deal, but maybe you'll get one.
Yes, sir.
And just give me a 4x4.
I'll be good.
All right, Clemson. What's the coolest spot to go eat in Clemson if you've never been there?
Never been.
Or give me a couple.
Yes, sir. Smoking Pig is definitely number one.
Okay.
Yeah, barbecue. Can't get any better than that.
Really?
The brisket and sweet potato casserole from there.
I'm a Texas guy. Brisket, man. Come on now.
I'm telling you.
Mark Packer always talks about that smoking pig, so that's one.
Yes, sir.
What's another one?
Let's think. Probably the place I love is Cane's.
Okay.
And there's actually only one in all of Clemson. Anywhere is right where all the students are. So I love going there. Maybe getting to meet a couple non-student athlete students and getting some chicken tenders. So.
We're in the red zone, man. We're about to score, and this should be an easy one for you. House on the beach or house in the mountains?
I was actually just at the beach, so I'm gonna have to go mountains because I'm a little sick. A little sick of the beach. No, but yeah, I love just being to myself. I love understanding it. I can be an individual, and it's so important. So yeah, I would say time at the mountains because I get that time off. So
scored a touchdown, my man.
Sir,
the Blue Ridge Parkway in the fall, no better time, right?
Yes,
when
sir.
you can look out and drive and just meditate. Well, I appreciate it, man, and I know you're gonna catch it. I want to thank Will Shipley for coming on the Chopping It Up with Buck episode. I don't know which number, but it's a great one. Thanks, Will. Appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
sir. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.